Battlefield 2042's launch was probably one of the worst in gaming history. This game launched terribly broken and unfinished. It was so bad that the game was barely even playable, and people were pissed off. Hundreds of people who bought the game ended up returning it. It ended up getting so many bad reviews that it's now the worst reviewed game ever in gaming history. So needless to say, Battlefield 2042 had a lot to fix. It's been almost a year now since the game came out, so where is it now? Did they actually fix the game, or was it completely abandoned to rot away? Let's talk about it. So I want to start off with the pros first. I can happily say the developers did not abandon this game. They actually did put the work in to fix this game. The problems that plagued this game at launch have been fixed. This game is actually playable now. I've had no performance issues at all when playing. My game seemed to run really smoothly and didn't crash at all. This is a huge step up from when the game first released. If you could even get the game to run without crashing, the performance issues the game had were so bad it wasn't even playable most of the time. But as I said, they were luckily fixed, and now this game is definitely playable and runs great. They also fixed the main menu and the settings menu within the game. When the game first launched, the main menu and settings menu were just super messy and cluttered. It was hard to find what you were looking for, as it was just so unorganized. But I can say it looks a lot better now, and it is easy to navigate. Additionally, the in-game store looks to have a decent amount of cosmetics you could buy. I do think there could be a little bit more, but at least there's a decent amount of stuff to choose from. I must say the cosmetics in the Battle Pass look to be pretty good as well. Now, if you're wondering about the actual gameplay, I can say it is done really well here. The game is really fun and stays true to the all-out intense sandbox warfare that makes a Battlefield game what it is. Whether you're playing as infantry or you're in a vehicle, the combat feels great, and the general flow of the game is really good. The leveling system also seems to be done really well here too. I seem to level up weapons pretty easily, as well as the Battle Pass. I don't think you'll have a problem progressing in this game at all. Finally, I think it's worth mentioning the music is really good in this game. Not just the main menu music, but the in-game music too. Most FPS games I'll turn the music off, but in this game I like to keep it on because I think it's intense and helps with the immersion of the game. Moving on, I want to talk about the cons of this game. Luckily it's nothing too bad, but it's definitely something that needs to be talked about. I think there should be a bit more weapons to choose from, especially with the game being out for almost a year. While there were new weapons, there weren't very many, making the selection feel like it was lacking. That also goes for the maps, vehicles, and gear. I guess I was just expecting a lot more. What the game does have to offer is good, it just needs more in my opinion. That goes for the Battle Pass as well. I'm not sure why it's only on Season 2, with the game being out for almost a year. I was thinking it would be on a lot later season by now. I could say at least the developers do have a roadmap for this game set out though. So even if there's not a lot now, in the next coming months there should be a lot more added to the game. They also do plan on doing a lot more quality of life changes as well, such as bringing back the classic Battlefield class system, map changes, and more. Additionally, I have to talk about the player count of this game, because it is low. There's only about 8,000 players currently playing on Steam at least. I'm not sure what the number is in total with all the other platforms included. I'm sure with Xbox and PlayStation the player count is a lot more, but it's definitely still low for a AAA game unfortunately. Luckily, the low player count didn't affect my matchmaking at all. I was able to find games pretty quickly. The problem I did have is that some of the games I got into, there were AI filling the matches instead of real players. Now, this didn't happen in every game I played, but there were a few games where most of the players in the game were AI. Like most AI in games, they're not the best either. So it did take away from the overall experience a little bit. Overall, Battlefield 2042 seems to be going in the right direction. The developers are actually taking the time to fix the game, rather than just abandon it. The game has come a long way since its launch. It's actually playable now, and doesn't have any performance issues ruining the experience. The game is actually really fun to play, and still provides you with intense, all-out sandbox warfare that only a Battlefield game can provide. With a little bit more work and some more content added to the game, I think it would be a top-tier game. But unfortunately, I can't help but think this is how the game should have launched. It feels like the past year the game has just been in a beta, and we're only now just getting the full release of the game. This game might be fixed now, but it shouldn't needed to have to be fixed in the first place. It should have been released in its current state, instead of taking almost a year to get there. While the game is fun, and I think it's worth playing if you own it, I don't think it's worth buying, at least at full price. No matter what the developers do to fix this game, it just won't ever be successful in my opinion. That's because of the bad release. I just think that most people have moved on and forgotten about this game. I don't blame the people that have either. At least now the developers know that releasing a broken, unfinished game is just unacceptable. Hopefully this teaches the developers a lesson, and the next game we get is a finished product at launch. What do you guys think though? Is the game worth playing? Or do you think it's not even worth playing at this point? Let me know in the comments below. And give the video a like if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you want more FPS gaming content like this. Also, if you want to find out what Halo Infinite is like a year later from now, I'll have that video at the end of this one. Anyhow, that's it for me though. Have a good one, everyone.